People look at people with special needs as they're not worthy to live, like they're a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Like, they shouldn't have life, like they're not worthy of love and respect and dignity. Do you know what it's like to be a parent of children with special needs? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about what it's like to be a parent with special needs children. We're going to be opening up, giving you guys the real raw truth of what it's like being a parent with special needs children. And in our other video, we made another video and we talked about the positives. We talked about the opportunities when it comes to being a parent with special needs children. And we did say that we were going to make a video to talk about the challenges, right? But we're not going to make a video yet to talk about the challenges of special needs. Today, we're talking about some things. We're opening up and getting some things off our chest. And the reason why we're making this video is because we're advocating for the special needs community.
Yes.
We're advocating for ourselves. We're advocating for our children with special needs and other families out there who have children with special needs. And the reason why we're doing this is because just like we've been seeing comments for years and years and years, towards me and Crystal, right? Because we're putting ourselves out there on social media. And so we're doing that because we do have the tough skin. Like, we've gotten used to these comments, so it doesn't really faze us. But the reason why we're making this video is because I know that it's other families out there with special needs, with special needs children, as parents with special needs children, and it's families who have special needs children within their family.
Right.
And when they come to our channel and they look at the comments, I don't want them, the thing that I don't like and I feel disgusted by is for them to see how we're getting treated and for them to, internalize that and feel worse about their situation, feel down. Because we want people in the special needs community to come to our channel, to be inspired and encouraged.
To feel seen.
Yeah, we don't want them, to, even though I know it's out here because we live in an evil world. This world is not just sunshine and rainbows, right? As Rocky said, it's not just sunshine and rainbows. But man, life is hard, and then it's also some very evil people out here. But when other families and other people with special needs come to our channel, we want them to feel the love. We want them to feel the inspiration and get inspired, right? And so we're talking about how, literally, we just want to tell people, the people who have negative things to say about parents. When you talk about us, you are talking about the whole special needs community as a whole. When you talk about our children, you are talking about, the whole special needs community. Because we're not we're on here to advocate. We're on here to bring awareness. That's why we share our story. We're on here to inspire, to uplift, and to encourage people, to bring them in, right? To bring them into our lifestyle. And so one of the things, go ahead.
And I was just going to say, we are not the only families who look like us. So like you said, if you're talking about us, you are talking about all of us, all of the families who look like us, because trust me, we are not the only family and the only couple who has more than one child with a special needs condition.
And even just to add to that, we're also going to just talk about a little bit to bring you guys into our mindset. Because you don't, the people who don't have special needs children, you don't understand what it's like to have special needs kids, right? You don't understand. You can't understand something that you've never been through.
Especially the negative comments.
Yeah, not the people that's supportive, but to the negative people. We're also making this video to just, open your mind some, okay?
Or at least try.
Yeah, let's try to open you guys' mind through our story, okay? And so just even starting it off, right? Addressing the thing of okay, we are selfish people. We are evil people for having children with special needs. And the only thing, I have a question that I would like to ask, and go ahead and answer that in the comments if you want to, right? The question that I like to ask, right? For us families who have one special needs child, we get a pass, right? It's okay.
Well, that's the one.
It's okay. But it becomes a problem when a family has more than one special needs child. And I understand some of you guys' reasoning to where you think it's like, oh, if I had, and we see this all the time, if my first child had a special needs condition,
I wouldn't have
I wouldn't have had it. And then some other people say, I wouldn't have another child. I'll just completely stop. I'll get my tubes tied.
What makes you go further after one pregnancy or two? They think, our second child is the one with the special needs, and really it's our first son. So they don't even know our story, but they'll just say like, oh, I wouldn't go ahead and have any more children after the first or the second.
Yeah, and that's something that we're going to talk about, because we've been learning ourselves more and learning more about our story. But I want to tell you guys the reason why. Okay, if your first child, for me and Crystal, we had our first child and he had a special needs condition. Okay, when we found out that our little boy Samson was going to have 5 months pregnant, it was no way that we were going to terminate our child at 5 months pregnant. He's a full
baby. Like,
yes, we've been going to appointments after appointments, seeing him, knowing that he's a boy. It was like, that's just like on a practical level. I'm just going to say it like that. That's just on a practical level, you guys. And if I'm aggressive, I will say I apologize for being aggressive, but I'm aggressive because I'm passionate about this. But we had our first child and he had a special needs condition, right? And for us, that was really, really difficult. That was difficult. We didn't understand. We went through a season to where, man, it was difficult. That was one of the second to date is the second most difficult thing that we ever been through in our life. My father passed away, and going through this was way much harder than that. Like, I didn't have a good childhood either, but going through this situation with having a special needs son was the most difficult time in my life at that time, right? And so and you can chime in whenever you want to. So we had our first child who had a special needs condition. And in that moment, like for me and Crystal, we had a dream, and we had our desire that we wanted to have a big family.
Especially meeting at such a young age. So we met when we were young adolescents, and we literally was like, oh yeah, like we can't wait, and
12 and 13 years old.
Yeah, we were extremely young. So we like having children for us. We were like, that was it. Like that was a big plan that we wanted. Like 6 kids, Like we wanted a big family. We wanted a big family from the jump. So go ahead.
Yeah, we wanted a big family, you guys. And when we had our first child with a special needs condition, that wrecked our world. It wrecked our plans. It wrecked everything about us. Our whole belief system with believing in God and knowing God and praying, believing in healing and all of these like, God, why? And all these questions I'm talking about everything. Not knowing when he was born, we didn't know if he was going to live. We didn't know how his life was going to be. The doctors didn't even know how to take care of our own son. Man. The doctors didn't in the very beginning.
Nobody, even, we didn't.
Everybody was clueless. They didn't know how to handle him. Yeah. We didn't know what was going on. This big old challenge presented itself before us. And you know who allowed it to happen? I know God allowed it to happen. And the reason why I know God allowed it to happen is because all things that happen here on the earth, God must allow. He must allow. And for people who don't believe in God, I don't understand how you don't believe in God. And I'm not coming for you, but I'm just saying we don't make ourselves breed. We don't give ourselves life. It's not the universe that created us and allow us to be here. No, it's God. It is God. And so we believe in God as well. And so we knew that God allowed for that to happen. And you know how we looked at it? We looked at it with a perspective of, man, you know what? God is testing us. We looked at it with a perspective of, man, God, he know, even though it's so hard, and as many days and nights that me and Crystal have cried, as many days that I have cried as a man because my child has a special needs condition and I don't know how to take care of him. I don't know how to take care of my wife, and you can speak for yourself on this if you want to interject on the feelings that you had with having a child with special needs if you want to.
I'm sorry. It's just because you just so passionate.
I'm super fired up. No, go ahead.
I don't want to stop you.
This is gonna be in there. We don't have to cut this out.
I got you. But yeah, so seriously, with me, it's the same exact thing. Like, bruh, well, I mean, I'm not even gonna say the same exact thing because you grew up in the church. I didn't grow up in the church, so I changed. And I said this before in another video, but it's true. It's still the truth. To me, back then, I was thinking, man, God, I changed my life around. I've turned everything. I stopped doing this, or I started doing this a certain way, or whatnot. And for me, it felt like, wow, like this is what happened. Like when I give my life to you guys, and like this is what happens. Like I give my life to you, and then I get something that is a situation. I'm gonna say a situation that's undesirable, like something that I never asked for. I never prayed for that.
Yeah,
it's hard,
difficult.
Exactly, and it's something that I could have never even imagined on my own, like for my life. And so it's like, it was hard for us in that moment. It was extremely hard for me in that moment. It was extremely hard as a first time mom, like challenged, like just the condition itself, like just being presented with something so big. And we were young when we had them. We were like children, like 21. Yeah, we were so young. And so it's like, for that, it's like, okay, that's our first child. And we're not going to give up our child because he might have a condition or he does have a condition. No, we're going to fight and we're going to love this child. And even though if we don't know that he's going to live, because that's what they said, there's like a small % chance that he was going to live after birth, we were going to love the baby until whatever happened.
We were going to love our child.
Look at him today. Still love.
Yeah, still love. And he is super, super love. But I want to just take y'all a little bit back though, because even after having him, right? When we look at our life, like me and Crystal, before this happened, we looked at it with the eyes of faith. We looked at it like, man, you know, like we know we have this desire for children, right? To have a lot of children. And so it's like, you know, we didn't know about look, we young, and I will say we don't have the knowledge, right? We didn't know about the IVF. We didn't know about the different stuff that people can do. But even on top of that,
and it might have been told to us. Hold on, it might have been told to us. But again, we were so young. We forgot. It was a lot going on in our lives. It's a lot to process
in life. But like that don't even matter if we knew or not. Like we looked at this situation like, you know, the doctors, yes, we did know like, hey, it would be a chance. We knew that it would be a chance. You know, if we
from the pregnancy.
If we decide to get, you know, to conceive again, that we knew that, hey, it would be a chance. But you know what we did, you guys? We said, you know, we're going to move in faith, all right? Because see, we believe in God. We believe in Jesus Christ, and we know that without faith, it's impossible to please him. And I don't understand faith to this day. I don't understand it, you guys. I'm not going to say that I do. But what I would say is I just believe with what I believe in God, right? At that moment, and even still today, but with what I believe in God, we truly believed in that moment when we were you know, because we planned this out. It never was a slip up and it was no. We felt like God was like, hey, I want you to have a child. For our first one. The second time around, how everything was, we was like, you know what? Let's try again. Let's try again, man. Because this is something that I believe in. No matter what you go through that is difficult, you never know what you can do. You never know how life can be unless you try. And that's the whole thing. Like that's something when it comes to having faith in God, man, you gotta try something. You gotta see how God is going to work in your life. You gotta see how God is going to move in your life. And even if you don't believe in God, if you want another lifestyle, if you want different stuff in your life, you gotta try. You gotta try.
That's real.
You gotta try. And so we already had the expectation and the plan for our family that we wanted a big family. And so we move in to have, you know, our second son, right? And guess what? Our second son, he came out he was a typical child. No condition at all.
And it's the same two of us.
Same two of us, you guys. Same two of us.
Yeah,
right?
Even though we had the whole genetic testing and everything, we still produced a typical child.
Yeah, we still produced a typical child. And that was our second child. And you know, the chances are still there, but like, it's like, man, when we look at this, you know, like, here's one thing that we didn't do. We didn't say, oh God, we thank you for our miracle. And the reason why is because we already got our first child who has a special needs condition. We love him. We care for him. We pour our life on the line every single day to make sure that our son Samson has the best life that he can have. And even today, if you go watch him, he is happy. Right. He has joy.
It's
and when
fake.
I say it ain't no fake, the stuff that you see on social media, we ain't trying to pretend like he happy. No, I can tell you guys, in mine and Crystal worst days, my son was able to give me joy because he was happy.
And he was praying for us.
And he was praying for us. The days where I wanted to give up because life was so hard, my little son Samson, right? The one that people say suffered because of his condition. Yeah, he got a physical disability, but he's not suffering like that. My son has true joy, and I thank God for that. I'm just talking, but I truly thank God for that. I thank God that my son has joy, and it does not seem like he's suffering. Yes, he has pain some days, but overall, that the joy that man had, the joy that my son got, is a blessing from the Lord. But let's just go on a little bit, and this might be a little too long, but we just want to talk about this, right? We go on to have our second son, and our second son, he comes out typical. But then it's like, in that moment, right, where we have one special needs son and one typical son, it's like we 50-50. And still at this moment, we didn't consider like the other routes of like conceiving a child.
We didn't think about it. I didn't think of IVF, or no. I knew about IVF, but I didn't think that IVF was possible or necessary for our situation. Yes. My brain only thought of IVF as something that was for people who struggle with infertility, and getting pregnant. That was not our struggle. We could get pregnant. So I'm thinking, well, I mean, that was not even an option.
And even also the gene selection and stuff. I didn't know about, didn't know about that as well. We didn't know that. And even as well, you guys, before we had our second son, we had the whole full genetic testing after we had Samson. We did all of that. But then we had our typical son and everything was fine. And so that gave us hope. I'm just letting you know, that gave us hope. And it gave us hope in the place to where we was like, man, I thank God for all of our children at that moment. Thank God for both of them, for both of our kids, typical and the one with special needs. Samson and JJ, we love our kids, man, and it wouldn't change it. They the blessing in our life, bringing so much joy. But then as time goes on, we decide that we want to have another child.
See, but then I feel like that's the story that we have to share in a separate video, possibly, because this is long.
Yeah, but we could share it in here because.
Well, I mean, I guess if we could shorten it up, but it wasn't just let's just have another child right now. Yeah. It wasn't that, because we were actually going through another hard time at that point. We had gotten in a car accident in 2022, and in that moment, our son Samson, it was so much going on in that time frame. He was in a hospital for like 18 days. And some people might not understand what I'm gonna say, but I know that there are some people, especially I believe other parents, especially these children, who will understand what I'm about to say. We didn't know what the outcome was going to be when he was in that hospital. And for me as the mom, and I'm thinking about my other son, I'm like, man, I don't want anything to happen, but if anything did happen, I don't want my son to be alone, because he wasn't alone before, so I wouldn't want him to be alone, if anything were to happen. And so with that, like, in mind and all the emotions, I feel like...
and it was, hold on, pause real quick. So, like, the emotions that we was going through, you guys, Samson almost died.
Yeah.
Like, he literally almost died. The doctors came to us, you guys, and they was talking to us like...
They was preparing
us for our son to die.
Yeah. And it's like, to see your child, we saw him. We saw the way he was breathing. His breathing was changing.
Yep.
And it just looked like it was the end, okay?
It did.
For our son,
like our
Samson. First child. That was hard for us. That was a big moment for us in our life. And like, for that, to go through that, and then like just having, like we said, it's so much that happened. It's so deep. It's just so much that happened in that whole time frame. And we thought, like, we just want to have another child.
Yeah, we wanted to have another child.
It because it was just like.
But and I would even say this, not, and see, that's kind of like from her perspective.
Yeah.
But even from my perspective, it's kind of different. And we're not talking about this to give an explanation, but we just want to open you guys' mind, if y'all open, you know, to having an open mind about, you know, when y'all talk about us being selfish and all of that. But like,
I
even
hope that the right ones see in this video.
And but even on my point of view, right? On my point of view, when my son was almost finna die, and when they got in a car accident and everything, that was difficult. But that was also in the middle of me kind of living my best life as well. Mm-hmm. And when I say that, it's because like I quit my job. I was running my businesses. I was running two businesses, full-time entrepreneur, and things was good for me. And from a father's perspective, like the money was there. I've never made that much money in my life working at my job. So I was, as far as providing for my family, like even if I had a special needs child, I knew that we was in a place like, bro, money, I'm providing for my family. Like we taken care of, we in a good place. I don't have to worry, you know, about like not paying for this or paying for that or getting this. I was not in that place. And so from a father's perspective, right, also knowing that it was 1-on-1, like, so I didn't really know about all the stuff that was going on with Crystal, right? I didn't really like understand that, because at that moment as well, I'll even say this, me and Crystal in our marriage, it got rough. And here's why it got rough. When Samson, the cause of Samson almost passing away was because Crystal panicked and a car hit them when she was making a left turn. She panicked, she froze right in the middle of the street, and I'm right behind him, and I see this with my eyes, and a truck hit the vehicle on Samson's side. Well, on JJ's side, but a truck hit the vehicle on JJ's side, and Samson was crying. And for me to see my son being in that much pain, me and Crystal, like, I was upset with her inside, and I did. We was in our marriage was not bad, but like it was hard because I blamed her for my son almost dying, literally, and I did. I told her, and that, like, you know, that was that was bad on me. We had to work through. Yeah, that was bad on me, but like towards after getting over that, right? If you can just think about the emotions that's going on her side, the emotions that's going on my side with her, but then also then I also have the guilt trip too. Yeah, the guilt trip, and I'm also in a good place, right? Like we decided not wanting another special needs child. We just wanted another child. It's simple as that.
That's another part of it too. Like even with him being in the hospital, and he was actually on the verge of coming home now, it was like, wow, nothing is more important than growing our family. That was another feeling that I experienced. I was like, I don't care about nothing else. My baby, I'm so happy, you know, to have him. And our other son is no other time than to have my child. Like I don't care. I mean, have another child, because I want to grow my family, because this traumatic experience was so traumatic. Like family is so important, and the fact of almost losing someone, like your child, that makes you realize how much more important family really is from my perspective.
No, you are absolutely right, and that's kind of like just with all of that. That's when we was like, you know what, we want to have another baby. Yeah. We want to have another child.
Yes.
And now what I would say with this is, like, this is what we were just like, hey, we're going to have another child.
Jump into it.
And it's not necessarily jump into it, but it was like, you know, we considered like, hey, you know, it's a chance for us to have a special needs child, and it's a chance for us to have a typical child.
Yeah.
And now here we go. Like with us, with the knowledge that we had at the time, it's like, we didn't know about the IVF on how like we can really have it, right? We didn't know about that, and we want.
Like I said, I didn't know that could apply to us.
Yeah, didn't know that could apply to us, but we went ahead and said, you know what, we're gonna have another child. Like for me, and it just didn't cross my mind like we were going to have another child with special needs. Because for me, I was like, man, we have one. And I believe that God is going to give us another child without any condition, right? And I was believing for a daughter as well.
Right. Oh yeah, that was another
We wanted
thing.
our girl. We wanted our baby girl because we have 2 boys and we wanted a girl. So it's that thing of trying and wanting. And if you've been married and you guys desire kids, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. If you desire kids,
like even not special needs, but like people keep trying again until they have the gender that they want.
Yeah,
it'll take 15,000 tries and they'll still be trying. So that's
even just the fact of just wanting to grow your family, man. And growing a family is just amazing, and it amazes me, and I love it. I do love it. But from there, we decided that we wanted to have another child, and we went for it with having another child, right? And then guess what? At the 5-month mark, again, we found out that we were going to have another child with special needs. And in this video, not in this video, but in this moment, when we found out that we were going to have another child with special needs, that was hard. It was hard. And I know somebody, you just should never did it. Well, if you don't understand why
after everything we just shared,
it don't even matter. Like, it doesn't matter. But that's just what happened. And we found out that we were gonna have another child with special needs. And I'm gonna drop this question right here. When we find out at 5 months old, right? Because we didn't know you can find out before. I keep saying 5. Yeah, 5 months pregnant. We still young, and I'm not gonna just say it's like, lack of knowledge and stuff, but I mean it is. But then we young and we got stuff to learn. But in that moment, it's like, what do you do when you find out again that you're gonna have another special needs child at 5 months pregnant, right? Well, we can consider, having an abortion, but what does that look like for us as parents? What does that look like? And I would say this, of course, this time, I'm gonna say it, this time we considered it. We talked about it.
It wasn't like with Samson, it wasn't just oh no, that's our child. We're not doing that. No, this time we had a talk. We talked about it multiple times. It wasn't
just
one.
Talk to other people about it as well. Talk to other people about it. But overall, here's what I'm going to say. Overall, the main reason why we didn't terminate that pregnancy, from my perspective, and I really encourage Crystal not to, was because here's the truth. Is a special needs kid not supposed to live? Is a special needs kid not supposed to be loved? Is a special needs kid not supposed to be cared for? Just because they have a disability, does that mean that they're trash? Does that mean that they're not worthy to live?
Right.
And truthfully, when I thought about that in that moment, me as a father, what would that look like for me telling my son Samson that we terminated our 3rd child because they had a condition just like him?
Oof.
What does that look like, you guys?
Right.
What does that look like for our family, for our son? What does that look like, right? Because we're building our son up. Samson, he's here. I don't care what you guys say. Our son is here. Both of our sons now, they're here. They're alive. They are alive. They are here. But even in that moment, no way could could we go forward with terminating that pregnancy and telling our firstborn, who has the same condition, that we just didn't want to go through with it, son. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to go through those difficulties. But I definitely understand, from the perspective of thinking about the child and the things that they have to go through. It's a tough decision, you guys. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'll be real. Some days I wish, not even just a wish, but it's just like, God, I don't wish that my sons were terminated. I pray and I wish that they didn't have the condition. if I could do it over again, let me not just have them. No, because we want children. And it helped me to really understand something. And the thing that it helped me to understand, you guys, is literally with me having my special needs son, I love all special needs people. I care for all special needs people because it ain't even just because I had it, but I was able to see with a new perspective. Like, they are people. They are gifts from God. Like, they really are. They are human beings, you all. Like, we can go back to just talking about race, right? Like, being black. Like, years ago, being black, you weren't worthy to be alive. You were a slave.
You looked at as an animal.
Yeah, looked at as an animal, like being low on the pedestal. And that's exactly what my mindset is now. It's like people look at people with special needs as they're not worthy to live, like they're a piece of trash. Yeah. Like, they shouldn't have life, like they're not worthy of love and respect and dignity. Exactly. Like, what is going, like, and that's why, like, for me, I'm passionate tonight because, like, it's just like my passion grew on a greater level because it's like, man, parents with special needs children should be respected, should be treated as a normal parent, not talked about. And it even like
looked down on and made fun of and just negative, like it just doesn't require us having all of this negative backlash because we decided to love on our children. We decided to give people life. And even though their differences are going to make them, they're going to have a different life, but that is okay. Like, so it's like we're disrespected because we decided to allow a child to live. That doesn't make sense. Yeah,
it really doesn't. And I could just think of all these different scenarios, you guys, where like the mind and thought process that you guys have, not everybody, the negative people or the negative things, the thought process that you guys have towards us is ridiculous. And the reason why I say that is because I think about it like this. What about, people in Africa shouldn't have kids because it's a food drought, it's a water drought, they can't feed. Like, that does not make sense, bro. Like, it doesn't, because see, like life, like children, it is a gift from God. It's a gift from God. It's like, okay, do we have to set up criteria to where, okay, if you got to meet these criteria to have a child, or your child, in order for your child to live, you got to meet these criteria. That does not make any sense. That does not make any sense. But what I would say though, is I definitely understand you guys, and like we're wrapping it up here. But like, as me and Crystal talk, like we talk about it, like, right? Like, what does the future look like for our family? And we're not going to just go in depth, but like go in depth. But the thing about it is, it's like, yes, like where we are today is, it's like we understand as far as like, man, we can't do anything about the past. All right. So like, that's where we're at. We can't do anything about the past, right? Like, and everybody knows this. And if you don't, well, everybody know this. Like where you're at today, you can always look back and create your own perfect life. You can always say, I would have never done this. I should have did. Could have, all of that stuff. But you can't change the past once it's the past. You cannot change the past once it's the past. The only thing that you can change is today and going forward. Like what? We're just evil till we just pass away. Like, it don't make, like, the only thing that we can do, the only thing that we can do now is literally love our children how they should be loved. And so like, and it ain't even just for us. Like, if you see all the different families out here who have special needs children, or even special needs people in general, like, just stop, because that doesn't do anything for the future. That doesn't do anything for the child, for the person with special needs, for the family, for the caretaker, for the caregiver. That doesn't do nothing.
And it doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah,
because,
it really
like,
don't.
My thing is like, and that's one of the biggest things that I think about all the time when I see these comments. It's like, okay, this first of all is our life, this is our family, this is our story. how does it affect those negative you negative commenters? How does it affect your life?
I know one person, they was talking about how the taxpayers and like, they're paying to help with special needs with their tax dollars because families can't afford. Like somebody had the audacity to say like, oh, I know his income isn't taking care of the family.
The whole family.
And like I did say, and it's not even nothing to brag about, but it's like, no, my income has been taking care of my family except for 1 year because of the business and stuff that was going bad. But when I think about that, I'm like, man, you with these let me not even say that. Let me not even say that. But
no, but yeah, seriously, that was
no, I didn't even say. But I do know, right? It's like the people will say it affect them because their tax dollars are going to help families
I'm saying
with special needs.
Besides those people, the tax people, I'm talking about other people who are just simply those just internet bullies. Like I'm talking about those people. Like, dude, this has nothing to do with your life. This is just our channel. If you don't like it, you can just scroll to the next person's video. You could block our channel so you don't get our content or whatever. But it's like, it doesn't affect you.
But I wouldn't even say that because I think it does affect them. And the reason why I say I think it does affect you is because this is our world. Like, this is our world, and the world need to be a better place. And it shouldn't affect you in a negative way. It should affect you in a positive way. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it shouldn't affect y'all in a negative way. Like, if anything, it should help you to become a better person.
Yeah, be more caring and generous and loving. Yeah.
Yep, and trying to make this world a better place, right? See, one of the things, like, that's important, right? Even when it comes to everything, education, right? Like, if people don't know better, they can't do better. And when people are not doing better, you don't shame them because they don't know better. You don't get on them because they don't know better.
Yeah, you're supposed to help, and that's like, just help people.
You become an advocate to teach people like, hey, you should go get genetic testing before you decide to have children.
Don't tell us after we had 2 children, it's like, because we already know.
After the point, it don't matter.
Yeah,
it don't matter.
That's a legit point though, because I never thought about getting genetic testing before having children. So now that you've seen our 2 children with special needs, you could go tell young people who don't have kids, who are or like newlyweds, hey, and we could even tell people, go get genetic testing.
And we're not against it. I promise you, because we know about it. I'm not against the IVF stuff, you guys.
No.
Because we know about it, right?
Exactly.
Like, you know better, you do better. And like, that's what, to end it all, I do want to say, like, nah, we're not saying like, oh, now we just gonna go out and just have as many special needs kids. No. We're not gonna do that. Because we don't like with our 2 children that we have, like, hey, we love them and we gonna provide the best life for them.
Like crazy.
But are we gonna continue, to are we gonna continue? Now, what I will say, that's something that we're thinking about. We do want to grow our family, but then it's also, we do think like, okay, see, because we're conscious of it. We have the knowledge, like, hey,
we know that the rarity isn't that rare for us.
Yeah, it's not that rare. It's not that rare.
So we know now.
It's like we have that in front of us. Like, daily. Do you want to continue, do you want to continue having kids the way y'all been having kids? Yeah. Right? But for our kids that's already here, it's like, man, y'all here and we love y'all and we're gonna do everything for y'all. And so I definitely hope that you guys took something from this video. And I hope that you guys watched this whole video.
I know.
I really do hope that you guys
and
watch this video.
And have a real mature dialogue in the comment section, and not just, nitpicking and whatever. Just have an actual mature We are open to have discussions, and we do it a lot, but we don't need the immaturity.
But what I would say though, it's not even a discussion to have, like, as far as like.
Well, not debating.
Yeah, no, it's not a discussion. What I'm saying is, it's not a discussion to have on the kids that we already have.
No, yeah.
But like, it's not even it is a discussion to have as far as like, how are we looking towards the future? Because that is something that I think is very important for you and me too as well, to also advocate for, like, even, genetic testing, like knowing like who you're mating with. Like, I know most people don't even think about, like, people don't even think about, okay, I'm gonna get with this person, me and them gonna get married, or like, can we have, you know, like can we create, right? Can we have children? Most people don't find out until they get married that they can have kids, they can't have kids, and that if they do have kids, it's gonna be a special needs kid.
Yeah, nobody knows until after the fact.
I would advocate for, hey, go get genetic testing, right? Because I mean, truthfully, like, you know, the more that you're prepared, the more like you won't have to go through difficult things, the more that you're prepared. And it don't just go for kids, it goes for, man, finances and everything. The more you learn this, the more you learn that, the better things can be. So we're also, you know, advocating for education. We're also advocating, you know, I'm not no scientist. I'm not gonna be no scientist. I don't know about you. You do want to be a nurse and stuff, but we're not gonna be. I don't necessarily know because we still young. But as of right now, like, you know, for scientists, you know, I encourage you guys, and you know, y'all already doing the testing and trying to figure out the cures and all of that stuff. I think that's what we should focus on more, like moving towards in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like even just for the whole special needs community as a whole. But I would advocate for those things. So but he expressed a lot today.
And I feel like I just wanted to let him, you know, get it all off. And I think that's okay that I wasn't saying as much, but yeah, I was just letting him just get it all off his chest. And even me, I said little things, but what we shared and how he shared and expressed, that is how we feel. We have conversations about this topic a lot. I mean, of course, it is a part of our daily lives, so we do conversate about this a lot. But we wanted to share and just, like, you know, share and advocate for those who are on the other end of the screen and who are watching us and who have been watching us and who have made judgment, but also for those who, you know, who love us and who support us and everything. So we made this just for you guys, just to advance the advocacy, basically.
Yeah, and then also, you know, my message to all of our special needs parents out there, to all of our people who have special needs kids, you know, I just want y'all to know, y'all continue being great, you know, no matter what people say to y'all, no matter what you guys go through. Y'all continue to be great, continue to fight, continue to push, because, you know, we understand some of the difficulties that you guys go through and want you to know that you are loved. Like if anybody, I love you guys. Like I love you. Not alone. Yeah, I love you. And I know God loves you too. I know God loves you and I know God cares for you. And I just want to, you know, we just want to encourage you, you know, to continue to lift your eyes into the hills from which come your help. Because your help does come from the Lord. Your help comes from the Lord, and we'll continue to pray for all of our special needs families. We'll continue to pray for people with special needs conditions, and even for this world, you know, that things can be better for people and families with special needs conditions. Yes. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, peace out.